Hey everyone! For the next month, we're going to be working on the Mapping Inequality project that I described in the syllabus. This video is intended as a brief introduction to the website you're going to use as you complete that project. This project will ask you to explore a series of so-called security maps produced by an agency of the federal government called the Home Owners Loan Corporation, or HOLC. HOLC created these maps in the 1930s as the federal government attempted to stabilize the housing market during the Great Depression. HOLC would send real estate developers, appraisers, or bank employees around the city and have them assign each neighborhood a grade. And these grades would influence essential decisions about real estate in that neighborhood, such as whether or not the federal government would guarantee mortgages there, or whether or not insurance companies would sell homeowners insurance there. As Mapping Inequality's creators have put it, these maps set the rules for nearly a century of real estate practice. So just a few reminders about the assignments associated with this project. By October 8th, please select the city you will analyze. I have sent a list of these cities around for you all. Some of you may end up choosing the same city, which is fine unless you're in the same group. So choose your city quickly so you can be sure to get your first choice. By October 15th, I expect you to have analyzed the documents associated with your city and post 2 to 3 discussion questions based on them. For that week, the Mapping Inequality documents will serve as our primary sources. By October 29th, you will submit a 500 to 750 word analysis of your city's real estate market during the 1930s, the conclusions of the bureaucrats who created your document, and the potential significance of these documents. So now let's go check out the website. So here's the landing page for Mapping Inequality. As you can see, the URL is dsl.richmond.edu, and of course you can just get here by searching Mapping Inequality in Google. I encourage you to explore the site as much as possible. As you can see, it features a map of the entire country and highlights the cities that they have digital maps for. Unfortunately, not all states are represented, including Montana. You will see a zoom feature on the upper left, and this small map of the US is the homepage button. So if you're looking at a specific city and want to go back to the main page, just click on this. It'll take you right back. Don't use the back button. Also, you will notice that some cities, like Montgomery, Alabama, have this next to them: area, descriptions, data, and scans. And then some cities, like St. Petersburg, Florida down here, it says area, description, scans. And then some, like San Jose, they don't say anything. So I want you to focus on cities that say area, descriptions, data, and scans. These are the cities the site has the most complete and accessible data for, and so they're the easiest for you to work with. There's several ways for you to find your city and its maps. One way, of course, is just to use the search feature here. So it'll narrow down, and there you go. There's Evansville, Indiana. Another way is to use the zoom feature, and as you zoom in on a part of the country, you'll notice that the options of cities on the right here have changed, and they only include those cities that are still on the map. And if I were to keep zooming in, I would eventually get only to Evansville. And of course, the other way you could do this is just to scan down the entire list and see what they have. So once you've found your city, click on it, and you will see the HOLC security map here. And you will also see this section called grading in terms of area. This is just beneath this demographic information here. Population in 1930 and 1940, some racial and ethnic demographics. HOLC used 4 color-coded categories to describe neighborhoods, which you can see in the left-hand corner of the site. So red or D was hazardous, yellow or C was definitely declining, blue or B was still desirable, and green or A was best. To highlight the color coding of a city map, you can use this scale on the left, and if you drag it down, the map's colors will be a little easier to see. Looks just like that. And as you bring it back up, you get greater detail of the city itself. The information on the right, labeled grading in terms of area, will tell you what percentage of the city fell into each grade. So Evansville, for example, was 58% definitely declining when its maps were made in, I think, 1937. And it was also 32% hazardous, so 90% of the city was declining or hazardous. And then this concentric circle below gives you a sense of how neighborhoods were organized geographically. So, for example, what percentage of a certain grade was in this area called the factory zone, and then what percentage was in the zone of transition here, just beyond that kind of industrial core, what percentage were in the zone of working men's homes, or in this more suburban residential zone. Once you have a sense of the basics, click on a specific neighborhood. So I'm going to click on one of the blue neighborhoods, one of the few blue neighborhoods in Evansville here. And you'll see a few things. You'll see curated selections from area description. And this is just the makers of the website pulling information out of the original source document to quickly annotate a little bit of information about that neighborhood. And then you will also see below the actual original document, and this is really important. This is what I want you to focus on. Oops. So here is the original primary source, and this was created by various employees of the Homeowners Loan Corporation. And what you'll see on these sources is different things. So these can change from city to city, but more or less they will all include a physical description of the area. So this is very descriptive. It's flat. Some potential detrimental influences for real estate investment. So there had recently been a flood in this neighborhood. You'll also see details about who lives there. So in this neighborhood, the best people in Evansville live there. And what does that mean? Well, the rest of the document is going to tell us who the best people are. They're people who have relatively high income. They're born in the United States. They're white. And nobody else is going to move into this neighborhood anytime soon. Nobody here is on welfare. This is the Great Depression, so that's very unusual. The neighborhood doesn't seem to be changing much, although some folks are moving out. And then it's also going to tell you what types of homes are there, how old the homes are, what condition they're in, what value they have. And then below, there's often going to be a section called clarifying remarks that will tell you more about the neighborhood itself. Sometimes these are very lengthy and very interesting. Sometimes they're very brief, just like this. So these are the documents you're going to be analyzing. You'll look at a minimum of 8 for the city you choose and try to get a good sample of the different neighborhoods. And that's it. Let me know if you have any questions.